welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go for a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. I grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This midweek episode we'll be going over sort of more like how to make gold, how gold making in WoW has evolved over the years, and more importantly, like people who buy gold and what the WoW token is for, essentially, stuff like that. But we'll break it down. It's more going to be for the newer players to World of Warcraft who don't necessarily know how to make gold or efficiently, but you can also learn something from this if you are a veteran player, or obviously you'll have your own opinions on stuff like the WoW token that newer players might not know what it is, basically. So in terms of gold in World of Warcraft is your currency. It's the main thing that you need to buy gear off the auction house, buy spells, multiple different things for it. But mainly it is to purchase gear or mounts, anything along that nature. That's kind of the main reason for doing it. Now, in Wrath of the Lich King and in Classic, gold, silver and copper are very important to spending on spells, because spells in Classic actually do cost quite a fair amount, and you do lose quite a bit of that currency just from training your spells like every couple of levels. Now, there are multiple ways to make gold in World of Warcraft. The one that I always tend to go for is farming. Now, this isn't like you're going into a field and stuff. This is very much you farm mobs, so you just kill NPCs. Now, depending on your class, you might be a lot more effective at this than others. I played a mage back in Classic, so I was very effective at doing this. And it was just a nice way to turn off my brain whilst almost watching something else in the background. So you could do this at a very chilled sort of way. So you can do it at a chilled sort of angle where you're just watching something on like a different monitor or your phone whilst killing mobs and looting them for cloth, or running around looking for resources, which is the next one, which is professions. You have multiple different professions. You have mining, skinning, tailoring, herbing. The gathering professions are a lot more lucrative than the crafting professions. The gathering professions are skinning, mining, and herbing. You can get multiple different things from these. You obviously get the ore from them, and then you can turn the ore into bars. You can get multiple gems if you're a miner. You can get multiple rare herbs if you are herbing. And again, skinning, you get a higher and higher quality leather. And all of these are used to make, or all of these things are used in professions, such as leatherworking needs a lot of leather. Tailoring needs cloth, so this can sort of blend in with the farming of mobs, because you get a lot of cloth from higher level mobs and humanoid mobs and stuff like that. So your gathering and crafting professions are definitely a lucrative way of making gold. Tailoring is very lucrative in Classic, Hardcore Classic right now, because it has the use of making bags, and with characters constantly dying, bags are always in need. There's always a market for buying new bags on the auction house. So tailoring at the moment in Hardcore Classic is the way that I've made my gold. Now, you can do stuff like alchemy and sell potions, such as petrification, flask, or flasks in general at higher end levels for those who are raiding currently in Hardcore Classic. All of these are very good. For herbing, you have stuff like Grom's Blood, Dreamfoil, Black Lotuses that you can sell for a very good profit. And professions are just a generally steady way to make gold. You obviously have the auction house sort of play with it. This is where you sort of buy out something completely and then just raise the price of it. So if, say, linen cloth is 2 silver per linen, you buy all of it, and then you up the linen sort of minimum sale to 6 silver per linen cloth. And people who very much are in demand of linen need to buy this because it is the lowest on the auction house. So you're making 4 silver profit for each linen cloth, and if you bought 100, you're making 4 gold sort of profit, which is really nice. But again, this comes with complications. Some people might just realise that this is way too much for linen cloth, or any sort of item that you deem that you want to buy and try and play the market with, stuff like that. It has a lot of its disadvantage is being reliant on other people just buying your stuff. A lot of these methods are, but that one you're taking a gamble in order to make your gold, whereas the others are very much certified and you don't have to spend anything to make an extra profit, as it were. Now, people obviously think that the whole World of Warcraft revolves around gold. It somewhat does. In retail, a lot of your enchants and your gear need enchants to be competing at the highest level. This is stuff like your weapon enchants, your chest enchants, your belt like clasp to give you more stamina, stuff like that. Even at Wrath of the Lich King, enchants are very much a pivotal part, as well as classic hardcore. They can help with certain things, and people always are either too lazy or can't actually farm their gold, so they will go to someone to buy their gold. Now, this is against TOC. If you are exchanging real money to buy gold, this is against TOC, and this is where people pay £60, $60, whatever your currency is, and get, depends on the market rate and all of that stuff, but I would imagine like 200 gold, something like that. In hardcore classic, it's really not worth it. Now, people complained about Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Lich King, when the token was introduced, Wrath was in a very bad state. A lot of bots, like a lot of essentially, bots. So accounts that were not manned by any human, but were literally just self-sustaining sort of AI. They just went around, killed mobs, put everything on the auction house and made gold for that character. And then what they did, they sold that gold to people for IRL money, which is against TOC. So what Blizzard did essentially to kind of counteract this was put in the WoW token. Now, people see it as a massive cash grab from Blizzard. It's like, oh my god, they put the WoW token into Wrath. This is ridiculous. All they want is more money. It was single-handedly maybe one of the best things that they've ever done in Wrath. Now, this is a very controversial opinion from me, because a lot of people hate the WoW token. So many people hate the WoW token. It's absolutely unreal. I understand your frustration with it, buying game time or buying gold, essentially, because you can buy the WoW token for IRL money and put it on the auction house to sell for gold. Isn't that against TOC? Kind of is kind of, I've forgotten the phrase for it. But yeah, it kind of is from Blizzard's point of view. But with the introduction of that, it allowed people who had a lot of gold, which, by the way, in Wrath, loads of people are rich. I do have to say that. Loads of people have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, probably some people have 1 million and stuff gold. And the general market rate for stuff, back when Wrath of the Lich King was out, if you had about 20,000 gold, you were deemed rich, like very rich. And I think that has gone up to something like, if you're at 200k, you're deemed pretty well off, essentially, in Wrath of the Lich King, because everyone's gotten more effective at making gold. GDKPs are definitely a thing. But when the WoW token came out in Wrath, what it did was essentially people could just buy it and not have the fear of getting banned. Now, this meant that there were less bots in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. There still are bots, but I see nowhere near as much in Wrath Classic, which actually healed it quite well. It's a massive, boost for Wrath of the Lich King, just the players in general who enjoy Wrath a lot more than retail or hardcore WoW. So there's a lot less bots, which is one thing. People who actively have a lot of gold can buy this WoW token, and it allows them to not spend IRL money for game time. They can spend gold to get 30 days game time, which is huge, and that's what I've been paying off my subscription with. I have been buying WoW tokens on the auction house for gold to pay for my WoW subscription. I don't have to renew my WoW subscription until something like August next year, and I haven't had to since July, I think. So I've got 11 months sub, and I haven't had to spend IRL money for it. I've just had to spend gold. And gold is what you passively make when just playing the game normally. Now, some people might not be able to do that. Some people might not be able to spend as much time on WoW and stuff like that. But it's such a good thing, the WoW token, because people who aren't... Look, I understand that people hate the WoW token purely on the basis that it's buying gold for IRL money, technically, because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing on Blizzard's official store, essentially. But I like to see it as people who can't afford a paid subscription to World of Warcraft are able to play World of Warcraft for free, essentially. And that, I think, is really good because it allows people to enjoy the game that they love for no cost at all. And that's kind of what people should be aiming for and looking at the WoW token for that matter. Like, it should be a thing of good in some cases because, like, yeah, you pay money for gold, but let them do that. It really isn't that much gold in Wrath of the Lich King. It's very cheap, and it allows people to enjoy the game that they love for nothing, for free. All they have to do is essentially play the game and they're paying for their subscription. It's absolutely amazing, and I don't get where the negativity comes from with the WoW token. But this is another way that you can make money through buying a WoW token, but I would definitely not recommend it. I would recommend buying them on the auction house to get game time, but I would not recommend buying it with IRL money to get gold. You can if you want, and by all means, if you want to spend your money doing that, go for it. It just means more WoW tokens for me so that I can pay for my subscription. I'm really not against that. I really am not. But yeah, multiple ways to make gold in WoW. The WoW token is a bit more of a controversial one because some people deem it as immoral and shit like that. But honestly, I just see it as a bonus way to not be able to pay a subscription to Blizzard. Like, sure, some people will be paying however much it is, but I get to save that same amount, if not more, on my subscription. So if anything, they might lose money out of it, but it depends on how many tokens are being bought, etc., etc. There's a lot more in depth to it, but the potential for them to lose money is possibly there with the WoW token. I can't be sure, like, exactly though. But that is it for this midweek episode. Thank you all very much for listening. Do check out all the socials down below. There's constant stuff going on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Twitch is like popping off at the moment. Constant streams happening every single day. There will be one later tonight, I believe, at around 2000 CEST. Is it CEST currently? Are we still in standard summertime for Europe? I think so. But yeah, either way, thank you all very much for listening, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.